Man, oh man, another fantastic day today comes to an end. Whether you were selling those beautiful crown reversals or you were buying the bear traps, everybody got a trap. I feel like Oprah this week. You get a trap, and you get a trap, and you get a trap. Okay, all kidding aside though, back to work tonight. Hope you guys made some money today. What a fantastic week it has been here. We got to get refocused though. Got a big day coming tomorrow. Biggest news of the week, maybe biggest news of the month. Non-farm payrolls is tomorrow morning. And I'll tell you right now, if the 60-minute charts have their way tomorrow, we've got some beautiful reversal trades on our radar for non-farm Friday. And you know how we do it. I'm going to cover my favorite trades in the video tonight. I want to make sure you guys have a game plan to make some money on non-farm Friday. Now, before we jump in and get the game going tonight, I'm excited just talking about it right now. Before we get started though, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video, so make sure you subscribe. And if you like these lessons, if you enjoy these videos, do me a favor here, will you? Hit that like button for me. Give me a shout out. Give me a holler down in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a fantastic week. We got one more day left. Let's keep the good times rolling here this week. Starting off first here, as always, on the 60-minute time frames. I got the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. Oh, we got the Emini and the SPY. The 60 minutes help us plan our trades for the following day. And then later on in the video here tonight, I'm going to drill down to some tick charts. Tick charts make the entry timing easier. So we'll start off with the big picture on the 60-minute, and we'll drill down and talk entry tactics on the tick charts as we go deeper into the video lesson here tonight. What are the 60-minute charts telling us right now? Well, boy, there must be some big news tomorrow because everything's getting coiled up in ranges right now. We're bearish overall into some ranges. If you're taking my free classes right now, if you're a student with me every morning in the trade room, you know how we trade ranges, right? We find support below, we find resistance above, and we trade fake out breakouts. We trade reversals back and forth, right? Sell high, buy low, fade those breakouts. That's why I said before, if the 60-minute charts have anything to do with tomorrow morning's news report, we get some great reversal trades on our radar here for tomorrow. Now, before we dive in and talk about the specific entry tactics to make some money on what should be some good reversals here tomorrow morning, let's double check our schedule for tomorrow because there are three things that I want you to be aware of going into tomorrow. The first one, of course, you know what the answer is. You're the first one. Employment number tomorrow, that non-farm payroll number. Now remember, we don't trade the news. It doesn't matter what that number comes out tomorrow. Whether it's up or down, it doesn't matter. Trade the reaction on the chart in front of you. The news is noise. It's very complicated world we live in. Trade the reaction, not the news, all right? That's the first thing for tomorrow. Second thing, tomorrow's a Friday. My mindset on a Friday is early in, get into trades early, and leave a runner. Leave a runner. Fridays get illiquid. Fridays lose a lot of volume as we go deeper into the session. So I try to get into trades early in the morning on a Friday, but I always try to leave a runner because as you've seen, that little piece you leave open can make your entire week on a Friday afternoon. Go back and look at last Friday and you'll see exactly why I say that. And the third thing is be aware, next Monday is Columbus Day. I know it's kind of a half holiday, but it's a federal holiday. The bond markets are closed. The futures markets will be open next Monday, but we'll take the day off. We'll celebrate Columbus Day and we'll come back on Tuesday. So just be aware, no newsletter on Monday. Not to worry though. We'll come back on Tuesday night and we'll keep the party rolling. Don't you worry. So be aware of the employment number tomorrow. Remember, don't trade the news. Trade the reaction to the news. Again, Friday mindset. Early in, leave a runner. Early in, leave a runner. Now back to our charts though, right? Because it's good to know when the news is. It's good to have the right mindset, but the money is made on the charts. Let's now go over my favorite trades here for tomorrow. We'll start off on the S&P and the SPY. We'll wrap things up on the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. As I mentioned in the introduction, we're bearish overall right now. We got a trading range developing. I'll tell you though, beautiful, beautiful crown reversals, beautiful bear traps. traps, lots of back and forth today. It's been such a fun week to be a trader this week. The fireworks kick it all off tomorrow. Remember, anytime we see a trading range, find resistance up overhead, reversals off the high, right? Find support down below, reversals off the low, trade the rotation, right? Trade that rotation back and forth. That's the name of the game until we see a breakout, right? Until we see one of those breakouts hold, it's buy low, it's sell high. And with the overall bearish bias right now, I'll bet there's a lot of bears who would love to grab that reversal back down. I think there's money to make probably on both sides of the market here tomorrow. Now let's drill down to our tick charts. Tick charts, I like to use tick charts because tick charts make everything easier, especially entry timing. This is a 7,000 tick chart you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, and that, my friends, is the 21 EMA if you're watching here for the first time. There is one very important clue on the tick charts here tonight, and that is multiple trading ranges. Anytime we see a chart like this, when we see multiple ranges like this, what usually means is we're kind of fleshing out one larger trading range, right? Imagine this whole area is one big trading range. And like I mentioned earlier, I go over a lot of range-bound strategy in my free trading classes. So if you're taking my free courses right now, you know that kind of ranges mean, right? They mean buy low, they mean sell high, right? So whenever you see a market like this, where it's range like this, range down here, that little range there late in the session, imagine now kind of rotating back and forth, right? Rotating back and forth as we go back and forth here. So imagine one big trading range. Now, the really kind of the best possible scenario right now would be if we can get these buyers to push out, right? Push out of this trading range. Because again, think of this whole area right now as a big magnet, right? And then again, like I said earlier, on the 60-minute, we got a lot of resistance, right, up overhead of that trading range. So if I hit it my way tomorrow, right, my favorite scenario tomorrow would be if we go higher. I'd love to get some shorts right down off that high. Later on in the video, though, I want to talk about if we don't get that move higher, it can be tricky to short this thing going lower. So we'll talk about if we do end up rolling over, because it does feel like we might end up rolling over here. And I want to make sure you know how to make money on the way down and also to how to pick it up, right, and buy it on the way higher. So let's kind of go through some scenarios. Remember, no predictions in these videos, right? We don't make predictions because nobody knows what's going to happen, especially with big news tomorrow. Let's go over some game plans. That way you are ready to make money no matter what the market throws at us. Like I mentioned earlier, what I hope happens is I hope we go higher first. And there are 3 different types of setups I always look for whenever I have, so here's the deal, right? As the market goes higher, we always talk about those 2 problems, right? Location and momentum. I like the idea of being a seller up here. What's the problem, though? The problem is that's a lot of momentum, right? It's a lot of bullish momentum here, and it can be very difficult to pick the top, right? It can be very difficult to pick the top in situations like this. I like the idea of selling, but what I'd rather do is use one of my favorite patterns called a crown reversal pattern. And really all it is, it's a bull trap, right? Remember, if we're very bullish going higher here, it may keep on going. So the easiest way to short that top would be to let the buyers get in and then use their stops as fuel to turn it back around for us. These are very simple patterns. What you want to do is you want to wait for the pullback around the moving average and wait for the buyers to try once. Okay, remember, buyers want to buy low. So as we go lower, let them try again. Now look at how this pattern sets up. It's a strong run up into overhead resistance. Remember, big range underneath us. I like the idea of the short, but a lot of momentum. So instead, trap the buyers in. Let them try once. Let them try twice. Once they're committed, now look at this closely. Look, lower low in price, and you want that trap high. Okay, nice strong signal. We saw one. I'm sure you're saying to yourself right now, we saw one, Joe. Look left. There's one right there. Right, happened beautiful this morning. We go up, buyers once, buyers twice, and everybody wanted that crown reversal. If you watched last night's video, it was exactly as we described it last night on the video last night. So that is the exact same pattern. You guys should be experts, by the way, at this pattern by now this week. It's just been non nonstop here, right? You get a trap, and you get a trap this week. Anyways, all kidding aside though, that is one of the 3 setups I would like to short off top. Let them roll up, trap those buyers in with a crown reversal. Now, sometimes what happens is, sometimes we'll get these strong runs higher. And again, because we're so bullish in the short term, right, going higher here, oftentimes they'll pull back and they'll retest that high, right? Buyers will come in, they'll aggressively buy that pullback. Now we can do is look for what I call a double top reversal. Now, double tops, because the buyers are assumed to be getting out at that high, double tops can be a lot more aggressive, all right? In this case, we're going to use what I call a failure pattern. If you're taking my free classes right now, this would be called a 2-try failure. Very bullish, again, short term. Let those buyers try once. Let those buyers try twice. I don't need the crown reversal, which would be great. The crown reversal would be even better. But you won't need it on a double top. Once those buyers get in twice now we know where their stops are. As my first mentor always said, now we know where their pain is, and now I can short on the move back down. Now, watch closely here, because this failure pattern oftentimes drops like a rock. And as it's dropping hard, you want to look for what we call a trap entry. This is a very simple entry pattern. You want to sell as high as you possibly can. Look. Strong run down, lower low in price, traps, baby. All right. So again, it's a failure off the high, double top failure pattern. Use those stops as fuel, and then as it rolls over, right, it's that trap setup. Now, if you're watching for the first time right now, none of this probably makes any sense. Crown reversals, failures, trap patterns, what the hell does this mean? Not to worry. I have hundreds of examples of these patterns in my free classes, and I teach the entire strategy in my free trading course. I'll do you a solid here. I'll put a link up top here for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that link, take that free trading course, because the strategy that you'll learn in that video course will teach you a stupidly simple trick we use every morning in our members trade room to know exactly where the best winning trades are going to be that day. And more importantly though, I'll teach you my 4 favorite entry patterns. You'll learn traps, failures, crown reversals, hundreds of examples of those, all inside the member section of that free trading course. So grab that link, especially if you're not making the money you want right now. That'll get you on the meat real quick. And also be aware too, I'm going to put all the links I talk about tonight down in the description of the YouTube video. So in case you can't get that little pop-up up there, all the links will be down there, along with my Twitter feed, which is where I post a lot during the day as well. So grab the links down there, and I'll see you inside that free trading course. So far, we've covered 2 of my favorite patterns, right? As we go up, it was that crown reversal, right? And don't forget, later on in the video, I'm going to talk about if we roll lower. Right? Is one very specific type of entry pattern I'm looking for if we do end up rolling lower here. So we go up, right? Crown reversal, right? It's that lower low and that trap high. One of my favorites. If we roll up, that double top, trap those buyers in, use those bulls for fuel, use their stops as fuel. And if it dumps, right, don't chase it. The easiest way to lose money is when it dumps and rolls over, because that FOMO, that lizard brain of ours, it says, get me in, it's moving lower. Don't chase it. Wait for that trap, right? Wait for that trap and sell as high as you can. That lower low in price and that trap high. What's the third one? The third one is the least desirable of the group, but we better make sure we're ready for it, because again, no predictions here. I have no idea what tomorrow will bring. Nobody does, right? Get ready for whatever the market throws at us. A V-top. V-tops are by far the most frustrating type of reversal, because you don't get the perfect entry off the high. We may run up and this thing may get whacked right back down, right? We may not go up and get the two. We may not get the entry off of that high. If it goes up and V-tops, what'll happen is it'll pop back down and then start grinding down. Okay, right when it begins to grind down, that's when that little voice in your head will say, come on, dummy, get in, you're missing it, right? You gotta quiet that voice down and do this. Draw a trend line off that low, bring it up around the high. You see what I'm doing here, right? I'm making a channel, and then look left, find those prior swings. I know a lot of you guys made money with this technique this week. I got a lot of good emails, right? This is how I trade a V-top, all right? I get it. I want to short up there too, right? I would love to pick the top, but get real, right? Get real, right? We can't pick tops. You try picking tops, you'll end up losing a bunch of money in the long run, right? Yeah, maybe get lucky here and there. So I want to sell up there. I want to go up and double top it. I want to do my crown reversal, but I may not get it. Right? If we run up and get crushed back down, once it begins to grind down, the grind is the giveaway. Okay? The grind is the giveaway. And again, for me personally, in my experience, right when I start getting itchy, right when I start going, oh, come on, I'm missing it, that's usually when patience, discipline, wait for that pop-up. I love traps, right? I love traps. You guys know this if you're taking my free classes right now. I love traps. This could be a trap. It could be a buyer failure, right? Get above that moving average. I'm simply keeping it simple right now. The technique, though, is once it grinds down, right? Channel, right? A trend line, channel, look left, and you want whichever entry pattern we get, right, off the high of it. And number two, remember, it may also, right? It may also drop, right, as it rolls lower, and you know what to do, right? You know what to do. Don't chase it. Look for that strong run, that lower low, right, and that trap above the high. That is the third way, right? Crown reversal, double top, and V top. I'll be looking for to sell that short off the high. If we run and hold and rip after news tomorrow, unfortunately, that is a bit too far outside of our video here tonight, so we'll cover that tomorrow morning in our trade room if the news breaks out and we start ripping and running higher, which I don't think would surprise anybody, right? We've been talking about this rotation all week here, but right now though, that range is a little bit too important to be talking about an easy squeeze, unless of course the news comes out, right, really bad. Remember tomorrow morning, bad news is good news, right? Good news is bad news, and bad news is good news. A good number tomorrow, a high number tomorrow, means the Fed has not done their job all the way yet. They're going to keep raising rates, right? So bad news is good news. Another example why I don't even try to mess with the news itself. I just trade what the market thinks about it. Now, let's talk about as we go lower. Right? And then how do I buy, right? How do I buy down below that low? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about that now on the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is a very pronounced bear market right now into what is starting to smell like a trading range, right? Higher lows in price, lower highs in price, flattening out. You can see for yourself, right? This one range right there, this one range right there. Remember I said earlier, whenever you see two ranges like this, right? Yeah, this is looking like a trading range. So whenever we see a range like this, we know that usually the best trades are going to be right around the swings, right? So swing lows there, swing highs here, swing highs up there, all right? It's a range. That range acts like a magnet. So unless we get some extreme, explosive move out of the news tomorrow, right, which is certainly possible. Let's keep that in mind, right? As we go higher, short back down, right? As we go lower, looking to buy it back up. Keep using that trading range as the magnet. So with that said, let's now go back over now to our tick chart. This is a 4,000 tick chart, by the way. NASDAQ has a lot less volume than the E-mini does. That's why we like to use a slow or a lower time frame on that. And you can kind of see the exact same situation right now, right? We had it yesterday too, right? Multiple ranges there. But for the most part right now, though, there's a range right there. You can't see it very well on this chart, but if you're with us today in the trade room, right, we know there's a range down there as well. And so again, we're kind of rotating, we assume rotating back and forth here between that trading range. I had mentioned earlier on the S&P those three ways to short off the high. I certainly think that is applicable here on the NASDAQ as well. Let's talk about, though, as we go lower. Right? So again, the same game plan the S&P can be applied here to the NASDAQ. As we go lower, what did we talk about earlier? If we go up, right, and crown and drop, what do? Traps, right? Traps. So if we do end up rolling lower here, my number one priority will be selling above prior swings. And the goal will be to be able to connect some of these lows and find some sort of channel. All right. This is always a bit of a moving target, but that's the goal as we go lower. Right. So as we go lower, the ultimate goal is traps. Right. So as we roll off that high and begin to roll down where towards the other side of that trading range. Right. If we run up and then run back lower, again, just be thinking about, don't chase it. Right. Try to short those tops as best you can. And again, my kind of goal will be to look for ways to line up these lows up around that high and combine that. Again, this would be a bull trap, right? As we rotate back down again. That will be the key as we rotate back and forth. If you've taken my free classes already, you know we always say when it comes to ranges, failures around the edges, traps as it rotates, right? We go up, failures around the edges, traps as it rotates. We go down, failures around the edges, right? Traps as it rotates. You will soon love range-bound markets once you learn how they work. Now, you can probably guess what the game plan will be as we go lower, right? I like the idea of buying underneath this low. I love the idea of that short on the way down to that low. Now, when I get down to that low, what's my problem? It's always a problem, right? There's always a problem. It's either location or it's momentum, right? Remember, there's no free lunch in trading. It's always a balance between momentum and location. So this is a great location to be a buyer, right? You're at support below the trading range, right? Great spot to be a buyer. But let's face it, if we end up rolling all the way back down, that's a lot of momentum for the bears. So trying to pick the bottom can be a very difficult job, right? A lot of times you'll get run over and you won't be able to pick the exact bottom. What I would rather do is wait for it to run lower. And again, remember that same game plan. It's that crown reversal, one try for the bears. Remember, maybe not. If you're watching for the first time right now, maybe you don't know this already. But in my experience, the easiest way to make money is to use stops as fuel, right? Trap people on the wrong side, right? Trap the sellers shorting into the lows here. And again, this could be here. It could be here. We get some key levels right down below, right? So anywhere underneath this trading range. And with that, all that momentum, let those bears get in, right? Let them try once. Now, as a seller, I want to sell high, right? As a seller, I want to sell high. So in order to trap in the most number of sellers, the price has to go higher, right? In order to trap in more sellers, we have to go higher to draw them in to the market. Okay, I always say buyers want to buy low and sellers want to sell high, right? As we go up, buyers want to buy once. How do you get more buyers in? You draw them in by going to a lower price, right? As it goes lower, more buyers show up. It's the classic auction market theory, right? People want to buy at a lower price. People want to sell at a higher price. So as we pull back, the bears come in, right? The bears come in again, and now we have them fully committed. Okay, now they're fully committed. Now, this is an overall bear market right now. So so being a buyer off this low, because of the overall bear market and because of the Nasdaq, the goal of retesting this big low, of course, right on the 60-minute, we have to respect that overall bearishness. So because of that, this is where a crown reversal comes in, not simply your two-try failure, right? If you're wondering, why not go with a regular two-try failure? It's because of the overall bearish momentum combined with the short-term bearish momentum. Whenever you're going against long-term and short-term, you want to use this pattern. Bears once, bears twice, and get in as low as you can. Okay, this is the key right here. This is extremely important fundamental. When you're going against all that momentum, what might happen here? As the market goes higher here, who do you think's up here? An overall bear market. Bears, right? Bears. There's a very good chance, a lot of times, I'll get in on that bear trap. I take my first profit target off at that high, move that stop to point of entry, right? Get rid of the risk, and guess who comes in? The bears come in, and they run this thing right back lower, okay? This is why when you're going against all of that long-term and short-term momentum, trying to buy right here with a classic two-try failure can backfire. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense, right? If it does, let me know in the comment section below. Give me a hashtag light bulb, right, or whatever, right? Let me know in the comment section, because this is a very, very, once I learned this aspect, it unlocked Well, it helped me avoid a ton of losses, right? So when I got bears coming in right here, remember, overall bear market, short-term bear market, we have to assume as it goes higher, they will try to hit it again, right? I don't want to buy as it goes higher, right? I want to wait for it. If it does go higher, I want to get in underneath prior swings and then get in. Right? That way, if we do run into another round of bears, you've already got the green, right? You've already got the risk off. You've already locked up profit. I hope that makes sense. All right. So that's why as it rolls lower, and again, against long-term and short-term, it's a crown reversal. Now, if they roll back over and they retest that low, this is one of those scenarios where everyone's a buyer down here. Right? Remember we talked about this last night, right? These are scenarios where everyone's a buyer. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, imagine now the bears come in and they whack it back down again. All right? The sellers that get short right there, they're going to take a good chunk of profit at that low. Right? That's where they'll take a good chunk of their profit. In other words, the sellers are buyers, right? At that low now. Okay? Now, at that low, buyers, it's a range market. Right? So who's waiting at the low there? More buyers, right? Buyers will come in and be buying that low. That's what buyers do. They buy low. They buy at support. Now, the secret is this. Now what you do is you wait for the rookies, right? You now wait for those rookies to come in and let them try a couple times here. Now, this is a situation where you can use a two-try failure, right? Now, if you're a trader and you get short into that low, which I did all the time when I was a new trader because I didn't have the guts to short the bounce. Right? It's pretty easy. You want to sell as the price is going higher, right? You want to buy as it's going lower. Easy to say, tough to do. Believe me, I'm with you on that. I made that mistake a lot. So what I would do is I would have the guts to sell that thing short. I would chase it going lower and get trapped. If you're a rookie trader, you get trapped in there and you get stopped out, what happens? You're a buyer too. Right? So buyers are buying, sellers are buying, rookie traders are getting stopped out. They're buying as well, hence the term, everyone is a buyer. In these situations, half off at the other side of that range. It's a Friday, so leave that runner, right? Leave that runner. You can thank me later, right, when you see those big runners on a Friday. So same idea, crown reversal. Off the low, right? Double bottom reversal, trap those buyers. Everyone's a buyer. And last but not least here, if we run lower, right, and it V bottoms off of that low, I know this is tough. These are tough. They're not fun. It'll pop up. You won't get that entry you want. It'll begin grinding. Now remember, when the market pops up like this, what's usually happens is this is a bunch of buyers who are buying into it, but it's also sellers getting stopped out. The fuel, right? We talked about this last night. The fuel going higher. The majority of this movement right here are bears getting stopped out. So eventually buyers will have to come in again, and they're not going to want to buy high. They're going to want to buy nice and low. So find that channel off the high, right? Trend line. Find that channel and grab that first test off of that low. Makes sense, right? As the market V bottoms like that, it gets these tailwinds, right? The squeeze, right? It squeezes as it goes higher. And what happens is eventually buyers will be necessary and they're not going to want to buy high. They're going to want to go out and buy as low as they can. I always look for, when it bounces hard like that, some trap, get underneath some prior swings to buy as low as we possibly can, right? That V bottom, as I mentioned earlier. And remember, as it goes lower, no matter which pattern we get, if it starts to run higher, what do? Right? You try to buy as low as you possibly can, bear traps. Right? Remember, failures around the edges, traps as it rotates. Failures around the edges, traps as it rotates. All right? And if you're here watching for the first time right now, I know this is a bit advanced. I know it's more than than most people talk about on their YouTube channels. So grab the free courses I mentioned earlier. Learn the tactics I'm talking about. You will love it. It will completely change the way you look at trading. I get a lot of good feedback, and we have a lot of students making money with this stuff right now in our trade room. So that's the game plan for tomorrow. The big variable is non-farm payrolls. All right, that's the one thing we can't predict for tomorrow. So buckle up tomorrow morning. News at 8 8:30 Eastern time. And remember, the best place to do this, the best way to do this is come out and learn with me, trade with me every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time in our members trade room. I have all the software tools. I have all the worksheets, the entry rules for you. And we have a lot of fun together every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time with all the members in the morning trade room. I would definitely recommend first though, start with our free classes first. Learn the basic strategy, see how it all works, get familiar with what we do here at School of Trade. If you got any questions or if you have any trouble getting access to our free classes, just simply call the office or use live chat. I'd be more than happy to help out every step of the process. All right, guys, so don't be a stranger. If you got questions about brokers or data or membership specials, whatever the case may be, definitely hit me up on the chat or give us a call in the office. Right, guys? What a fantastic week. What a fantastic week. We got one more day left tomorrow. Let's finish up with some more green on Friday. I will miss you guys on Monday, but have a safe holiday weekend. Make sure you come back next week rested, refreshed, with all your fingers and toes, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday night. But hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning as a new student in the members trade room. Guys, my name is Joseph. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Be well, be nice to each other, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.